Hi, I'm Glenn Whipp with the Los Angeles Times. Orange is the New Black, coming back in a couple of weeks for its second season, the Netflix women's prison comedy drama. And with us today, Uzo Aduba.
Hi.
Suzanne Warren. We won't call her Crazy Eyes anymore, right?
Thank you.
It feels wrong.
It feels wrong, but this season I've sort of found a way to endearingly call her that, depending on what it is she's offering up. But for me, yeah, she's Suzanne.
Yeah, that was one of the the great moments for the character, sort of, late in the first season, was her coming to Piper and saying, well, why do they call me Crazy Eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was, I know she doesn't, it was interesting because the playing of it, I thought it was so, and, really opened us up to the idea that she is very much aware of what everybody's walking around thinking about her, calling her that, but she doesn't even in any way, shape, or form associate herself with that name. And it was so clear and so much information for me to realize, oh, she doesn't call herself Crazy Eyes. She calls herself Suzanne, and she's very solid on who she is, knows where she's coming from and what she's about. So.
Right. She's not, walking around prison going,
yeah, exactly. She's not nice to meet you, Crazy Eyes, and you are. That's not
right.
the story.
Right.
Yeah, so just to make that very clear line felt like a good, I wanted to stand behind that for her.
I mean, just going back to the beginning, you auditioned, but not for the role of Suzanne, right?
Right. I auditioned originally for the show. I auditioned for the role of Janae, who's played phenomenally well by Vicky Judy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a phone call from my representation, and they said, oh, we have some really great news. I said, okay. He said, you remember you went on that audition for Orange is the New Black? And I was like, yes, totally, I absolutely remember, because I remember that summer reading it and thinking it was one of the scripts, like, wow, I would really love to be a part of something like that. That was really great. So when they called and they said, you remember that audition you went on for Orange is the Black? I said, yes. He said, well, you didn't get it. And I was like, oh. So
where's
what's
the good
news? Exactly. Like, you led with something strong, so I'm trying to find out what that is. They said, you didn't get it, but they would like to offer you another part. And I said, awesome, okay, what part? And they said, Crazy Eyes. So then I was trying to figure out what about my audition for this track runner felt like she's not quite right for the track star, but she's really great for this crazy person over here. But when I read the script and I started to figure out, who she was, it just felt like the right fit.
Yeah. You were like, what about my eyes led you to believe that I would be the right person for this part?
Yes.
But
that's the part I should do.
And then, you started researching, you read the book.
Yeah.
And then, really were able to just kind of bring your own touches to it, right?
Yeah, the book itself, the show itself is based on, or adapted from a true story of Piper Kerman, who wrote Orange is the New Black. And she did write about the character Crazy Eyes in her book, but Genji used the book as sort of a leaping off point for the invention of the characters that we know on the series. And we were just, the freedom that Netflix gave her to create was equally handed out to us as the actors on the show. And, the opportunity to be inventive and creative, and my brain, when I was reading about, reading the lines describing her, the second episode of the season 1 is where she comes in, and Marco Ramirez, who wrote that episode introducing the character, he wrote this line that read something like, she's innocent like a child, except children aren't scary. And I thought, oh, that feels loaded with so much information about who this woman is. She is I saw this woman, like a grown woman with a pacifier and like a sledgehammer or something in my brain, or somebody whose intentions are always good, no matter how they might be mismanaged in their execution. And that freedom to play was just exciting.
So she's very childlike, unfiltered.
Yeah,
absolutely. Comes from a pure place.
Yes.
It's impossible not to love her.
Oh, well,
Don't you think? I
I
mean,
think I love her.
yeah,
I absolutely love her. I feel so protective of her now, especially since I've held her for some time. I love her so much, and I think it's just somebody who, to me, she's misunderstood. That's the vantage point that I have, and I just want to fight for her as much as possible.
right. I mean, like when Larry went on NPR, and he's dishing about prison life,
Yeah.
Via the filter that Piper had given him, and he talks about Suzanne, and it's heartbreaking. Your face, your expression, the sort of that's not who I am, and sort of the betrayal of it.
Absolutely. That was devastating to both read and to play because she she saw a friend in her, a companion really, and a confidant and somebody that she wanted to grow with and thought she was definitely on the same page with. And then to learn, not even from Piper herself, that she'd been saying all these things, but some outside contributor is telling this story. It just, that leveled her, I think. It just really leveled, it would level me, I know,
Yeah.
if I learned something like that. And it was just devastating, because that was supposed to be her friend. That's her tried and true. So
It led to that great scene in the bathroom.
yeah.
You are not a nice person.
Yeah.
You told her, yeah.
You are not a good person.
You're not a good
Yeah,
person.
you're not a good person, I used to think you were all yellow, but now you're just a puff with, you're just a dandelion with the puff blown off, You're not anything. And I thought it was so interesting because she said she thought they were alike, but really it wasn't the intellect that made them different. For Suzanne, it was the heart space.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't have you don't have the heart love to love.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you mentioned that the dandelion with the puff blown off.
Mm-hmm.
She has such a way with words, doesn't she? I mean, just poetic.
Yeah.
She is a poet.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
She is a verse Shakespearean actress, don't you know?
Well, we do know, don't we? Yeah.
She has done her literature and research. She knows the Bard very well, She loves words, and I think she thinks of herself as someone who knows how to craft sentences and wield words at her leisure, and likes to try it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard the sun described as a yellow grape before, but that means something very important to her, that she felt she needed to put pen to paper and write a poem about it. But yeah, she loves words.
Yeah, one of the great moments for her in the first season was, she finds out that they're bringing in the scared straight kids. Yeah, and so I mean, for her, that's like an opportunity, right? To craft something, right?
Oh yes. Oh my gosh, that scene. First of all, when I got that episode and I was reading, I thought it was just so amazing that she's thinking of it as this great acting opportunity, a great performance that she's giving, at the Met or something. I don't know, but like this really fabulous stage when it has absolutely nothing to do with that. This is, you're just supposed to talk about your story. And of all the things she could have chosen to do, she wants to do some Shakespeare, and really get to the, put on the performance of a lifetime. And I thought it was just amazing that I had the opportunity to, I guess, to do that or play with that,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, you get the childlike aspects of the character, but then you get to do like some Shakespearean drama too,
yes.
in the middle of it.
Yes.
I mean, there's not every show offers that.
No, not at all. And I mean, I loved it definitely, because before doing Orange, I was doing theater in New York, and so that was so fun, to be able to bring that part of myself into this world that I've now been playing with on Orange. And yeah, it was just a blast that day. I'm really, really, really thankful to Nick Stevenson, who wrote that episode, for putting that in. That was very cool.
What was the experience of when the first season just dropped, all 13 episodes? Did you watch it then? Did they send you screeners beforehand? What was your experience of watching the show?
My experience of watching the show the first time was, I watched it more like almost remembering the conversations that happened then than watching the show. Like I could watch a scene and remember what we were talking about that day. Like, oh, that was the day, Dash and I went to lunch afterwards, and we went across the street and sat there for 6 hours. Or that was the day, Taylor and I did this afterward, X afterwards. Or Danielle and I were in the hallway laughing. So the first time I watched it, I was watching with that, and it felt a bit surreal because I was doing theater before this, you can't watch your own. There's no way to step outside
Right.
and see your own performance. So it was kind of looking at it like, I'm watching the work that I made. Then I think the second time I just really started to just feel proud, I guess, because I love my cast so much. I don't know, I love them so much. I just think they're like super talented, and I was just really proud to watch us all do the show. It wasn't until this past Thanksgiving, Christmas, that I actually just watched it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good. I like that show. I like that show. I really actually just watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with all the episodes dropping at once, when did you realize that the character had kind of broken through with viewers, and you were starting to get some, I don't know, maybe some people walking down the street going,
The first time, I think it was, really I started, because I wasn't in New York City, I was in Utah, kind of cut off from when the show came out. So I didn't really have my phone working or anything like this.
Yeah.
But I remember just seeing my Twitter followers going up at this rampant rate. And I didn't connect it for some reason at first to the show. I was like, wow, I just got 300 followers today. I wonder, I must have put a really sassy tweet up or something today, I'm not, and then suddenly, oh yeah, because the show came out. Yeah, that was cool. But being in New York and you're on the subway or, walking around the city and the streets, people coming up and, wanting to thank you for, watching the,
Mm-hmm.
making a show or being a part of a show like this is very, very touching. And definitely when I was running the marathon this fall and people were yelling, "Go Crazy Eyes," I was aware, I was like, oh, like, I guess, there are people who watch the show. Yeah.
And obviously you look quite different, much better dressed. You don't go around in prison garb. You don't, your hair is not,
In the
knotted.
knots.
So, there isn't that just natural association walking down the street.
Yes.
But still, I guess playing a character with the nickname of Crazy Eyes to me would maybe lend itself to some weird encounters out on the street.
I definitely have had people want to take a lot of pictures with the crazy eyes.
And you have to do the eyes.
And they want the eyes.
Yeah.
It's funny, actually, most people want to do their best crazy eyes. They want to give their crazy eyes in a photo. Or I get tweets of chocolate and vanilla ice cream swirled together, or chocolate black and white cookies, or things like this, or pies are another big thing. Will you pies? Or will I throw my pie for them? Things like this, and just it's fun. It's fun. I never a single day working on this would have imagined any of this.
Right. Just really kind of entering the pop culture.
Yeah.
And people are picking up on all these character tics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Never. I just wanted to do good work. That was all I was aimed. That was my aim, to tell a good story. So.
And then of course there was the episode Lesbian Request Denied.
Yes.
And you're reading this episode.
Yes.
And the episode ends and it says, "Peas on the floor, smashed orange black."
Yes. Yes.
So you're reading this. What's your reaction to really?
We're going there. Those were my exact words. We're going there, and my mother is going to see this. Those were my two things that I thought about. Well, wow, we're going all the way there.
Yeah. No half measures on this
Not
show.
a half step. There's no marking on this show at all. It's full out. It is always full out. But it was exciting, and I thought, wow, we're going all the way in. And I just had never seen that before. And I was excited to do that. Well, literally, I had never seen that before. I'd never seen an adult pee on the floor, on television. But to be able to go all that way, I thought these writers are not joking around
Mm-hmm.
here. They really have a voice in something they want to say, and they're standing to it. And I love that. I love that sort of bravery. I love that sort of fearlessness in acting and in performances and stories. So to be a part of that and be able to be the one to do that, that was incredible. And it was it was fun and funny to be doing it on television.
Yeah. And what did your mom say?
My mom said. That's what she said.
Your mom didn't say anything. She just went.
But she really likes the
Speechless.
show. She
Yeah.
really likes the show.
Yeah.
She really, really likes it. I was so surprised with episode 13 when Piper's character is wailing on Pennsatucky. She was like, you know, my family's from Nigeria, so my mom's, we're Igbos. And so she was like, Uzo, I really liked that part when that girl was just, enough was enough. And I was like, really? I am amazed that my mom was into the wailing on the girl. She was like, yeah, she loves it.
She pushed Piper too far.
She pushed that too far. That's exactly what she said.
I couldn't believe the guard just turning his back. I was just like, yeah, I was literally screaming at
Really?
the TV. You're kidding me.
Yeah.
You're going to walk away.
Walked away and let her try to, like, let them fight for themselves.
That guy's messed up.
I know.
I mean, you think of, like, a lot of the messed up people on the show. He might be the most messed up. I mean, but he comes in this sort of cloak of this grandfatherly,
He's from all of his beginning parts, and Michael Harney, who played that so well, you know, all of his opinions about what types of people should and should not be, you know, considered. And then I think it's interesting how the show sort of examines people, because at least Pornstash was Pornstash start to finish. You know, he never changed from that.
Right.
You know, Pablo, who plays him brilliantly, he stayed the man that he was, but you watched this peeling back of who Mr. Healy, played by Michael Harney, is, and it was almost a worse mask to be, you know, that he was wearing.
Even Pornstash at the end, he fell in love.
Yes.
It almost like humanized him.
He was human. Exactly. Yeah. That's right. That's exactly right.
So,
that it was maybe just a job, you know, that you know, who knows, you know, but he's more than one thing, which I think is the beauty of the show, being in prison, and, you know, we get to see more people are more than just their crime. They're more than one thing. They are parents, they are just sisters, they are daughters, they are mothers, they are neighbors, they have jobs, they have circumstances, some of them, that have led them to this place, and whatever surface idea of who we think they are, as Piper starts to go further into the walls of Litchfield, we start to realize these people are more than just their crime.
Well, yeah, I mean, totally. In which you saying that kind of made me wonder, has there been any reaction from women in prison, or can they watch? I mean, how would they have access to the show? Or
yeah, I don't know if necessarily current inmates have access because of Netflix. Yeah, I actually went to see a Broadway show, and a parent of one of the children in the show stopped me outside, and he had been incarcerated. This is a male, but he had been incarcerated, and he said, I watched the show, you know, I think it's great, and I just have to tell you, you guys are displaying prison for what it is. That's really what it was like. He's like, I know I'm from a men's prison, but that was definitely what it was like in my prison, from the guards to the different characters, the people who are running around in there, to some, you know, the family structures that get built, to the comedy, to the drama, all of it. He was like, that's prison.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
I know we're getting some questions.
Ooh.
Isabel Condi asks, what have you enjoyed most about filming Orange is the New Black? Well, you've said a lot of like enjoyment here.
Yes.
Have we missed any beats?
No, I think.
Well, how about one thing? Just the camaraderie. I mean, I heard an interview with you where you were talking about the cafeteria scenes and how they take forever to start because you guys are having such a good time.
Yeah, that's probably, I think, the highlight for me of working on this show, you know, outside of the work, of course, is the camaraderie. We had our season 2 premiere last night, and we were walking down the red carpet, but it was taking forever because we were all stopping to talk with each other and almost forgot that we had, you know,
supposed to be in.
That what was happening on this side. We were just so caught up in seeing each other like a reunion, and that's what it feels like. It definitely feels that way when we have big group scenes at work, because the love is just there, and everybody's laughing, and talking and telling stories to each other, and they'll be like, "Hi, hey, ladies, could we, we're sorry. I know you guys are having a good time, but yeah, the love there. I love the love."
Have you guys? I read a comment from you saying that you've actually taken vacations together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Danielle Brooks, who plays Tasty, who I love to death, she and I went to Japan during Christmas break this year. We went together with another friend of ours, and it was awesome. It was awesome. We had a great time. Neither of us had ever been there before. We went sightseeing. We went to go, the three of us, the three friends of ours, we went to go visit another friend there, and we just had a great girls' trip there. Taylor and I, we've gone bike riding. It's just, it's community. Natasha Leone, who's amazing on our show. I just love her to death. I cannot say enough good words about her as friend and colleague. Just an amazing human being and a phenomenal talent. Love hanging out with her all the time. It's awesome. We have a really special bond there, and it's most of these women. I only knew 2 people coming into the show, and I almost can't imagine my life without any of these women now that they're here. They're just so incredible.
And you named a handful of people here. But I mean, what strikes me about the show, watching the finale again the other night, is just how many great characters there are on this show.
Yeah.
How many, and we were talking a little about this before we went on here, but I cannot believe how many members of the ensemble it is, how large it is, and yet every character you feel like pretty well.
Absolutely. That is it feels like a baseball, like a bench. We have a deep bench, and again, I think that is just a testament primarily to Genji and her team, the willingness to write so many full and rounded characters. We have Black Cindy, who's played by Adrienne Moore, season 1, who was, I think, a number 105 on the call sheet, and was killing it every single episode she was in. She was phenomenal. Yeah. She's 105, and was just as integral to the show as whoever, whatever other number you would think of. She was phenomenal in it. And I think that want and that desire to tell these great stories, and also there's something about the talent of these writers, the ability to negotiate and balance all of those stories and keep all those balls in the air, really, is a testimony to the writing.
And you can throw a hell of a Christmas pageant, right?
Well, that too. I mean,
there's a lot of talent. It's like, if every women's prison could throw a Christmas pageant that good, you'd have applications for guards, around the
everywhere.
Block.
People trying to get.
There's a lot of people. John Morales, one of them. You mentioned premiere of season 2 last night. You were there.
Yes.
Can't wait. He says, can you reveal any tidbits about what is to come?
Well, John Morales, I can...
You're not going to disappoint John Morales.
I mean, John, we're close. He hasn't called. He didn't come for Thanksgiving, so I guess I can give it.
He lost your number.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. He lost it. Okay. I can say that the show gets deeper. We go deeper. I think now that we've settled in, as viewers as people on the outside, as it were, have settled in to the world and the play space that is Litchfield, we go deeper and we just start to pull some of those layers back even more of these characters that we've been introduced to, or even those characters who we've dealt further in. And I think that duality that lives within every human being starts to get more and more explored, and we do a lot of unpacking of that this season.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It is.
So those are tidbits.
Those are tidbits.
It's not like we want to know that.
No.
Much. I mean, that's the crazy thing, though, is that, in a couple of weeks, 13 episodes will be... have you seen anything outside of the premiere?
No, I haven't watched anything.
So what are you going to do?
I'm going to hold my breath and buckle up, because I know what the stories are. John Morales, I would say, if I could put it in just a phrase, I would say this season feels to me next level. It just feels next level. And so I felt like the need to rise up just from reading it and just shooting what I got to shoot in each scene. So I know I can feel already my heart just beating at the idea of watching it. It's a ride, and you should just buckle up.
Okay, good. We're getting a lot of several viewers on Twitter
Hey,
are
Twitter.
remarking how flat out beautiful you are,
Oh,
which I would just say, you just flew in from New York literally like
this morning.
this morning.
Yes.
So this is you jet lagged.
Yes.
And
This is-
so
Yeah.
pretty awesome. And how different you look in person
Oh.
than on the screen, almost unrecognizable than Crazy Eyes, which I think is a good thing, right?
Yes.
Do you get that a lot from your fans? How do you feel about that?
I do get that a lot from my fans and the people who watch the show. Well, I mean, it's better than the latter, but so
Yeah, right.
So I'm okay with it. No complaints here. But
Yeah, why don't you get the knots back? You should really, you know.
I used to wear the knots in real life,
Yeah.
the Bantu knots. That's the style, you know. But it just became too much in life. But I think it's exciting. Natasha on our show, Natasha Leone, she talks about when everybody gets stripped down, or my makeup plot on the show is make skin look worse. That's like when you get stripped down,
Right.
you really just have to survive on the work and just let the work itself alone stand. So we just let that live on screen in whatever way it sort of manifests itself. And then, when I'm out and living my life as Uzo, I like, I don't wear a prison jumpsuit in real life. So, so it's...
Unless you really want to be recognized. As you walk down.
On Sundays,
Yeah.
maybe, but...
That's your casual,
yeah,
stay in bed, do the crossword puzzle kind of thing, right? We are getting, we had a tweet from Mexico, a viewer in Mexico, saying you are fabulosa.
Muchas gracias.
What is it about Crazy Eyes' story arc that has struck such a chord with viewers? Why do you think that she's popped?
I don't have an answer to that necessarily. Yeah. I think I know that when I was building the character, I was very much interested in holding her voice on firm, solid ground. Because as broadly and as big and, wild sometimes as she can be, it is rooted in something, and it is rooted in a truth. Mm-hmm. And I think I wanted her vulnerability and her want for truth to live as vividly as I could make her. And that was all. My only aim was just to let her live fully, let her and live out loud as well as possible, and let her, everything about her. She's so passionate. Mm-hmm. Her spirit is just so passionate. Everything is a 10 when it comes to her, and I wanted to just execute with that same level of fearlessness and match what was given to me on the page to do as well. So.
Well, I cannot wait to see where that journey takes her next. She got like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming down here.
Thank you so much.
Lovely to talk to you.
You too.
And for more television coverage, please go to latimes.com. Thank you.